Dr. Jazz.
I love the T-shirt.
Oh yeah, it's all the different cats.
Man, that's a cool one.
Yeah,
Nice one. But yeah, Essiet, thanks for taking the time. Really
sure.
appreciate it. You know, the first time I heard you was on this one, so Midwest Shuffle.
Oh, Midwest. Yeah.
And I was just like, man, the most swinging rhythm section ever. So
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Good record.
yeah, it's a beautiful one. But I just wanted to ask you, I listened today to Shona, your record as a leader. And are you preparing something new as a leader, or what's the situation there? Because I really like that one there, the compositions and everything. And
Yeah, I actually have a lot of new music, but the COVID period kind of slowed everything down.
right.
But I did do one gig with a bunch of new music, and I'm going to try to record within the year this new music, and actually recorded one song on another record of this new music. Just last, I think it was May. Yeah, in New York.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's the band gonna be? You know already, or?
Well, I don't have it fully formed, but I want to have maybe a lot of the same guys, and then add some extra people. Like I want to have different kind of instrumentation, like cello and harmonica and vibes and different things. Because for different songs, I'm hearing different things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about Shona because I listened to it, and you know, you wrote beautiful compositions, and it's so diverse from groove oriented to swinging, and the band is killing. And what made you decide to do that record then? Why did you wait quite a long time to become a leader? What was the main trigger actually to do that record?
You know, those songs are from different periods, but I just never had the money, I guess. Or I never organized it in time. I was always busy playing, getting called for so many different gigs. And finally, I just, there was a guy in France, Xavier Felgeros. I don't know if you know him.
No.
He has a small label, and he records for people. He loves piano players especially. But
okay.
He was actually he was giving me a lot of work with different bands over there. And then he said, "Do you have any of your own music?" And so I said, yeah. And then he organized a tour of France for about 2 weeks. And then the band, one of the songs that has a quartet was the band that we toured with in France. And then after a 2-week tour, we recorded. And part of it is recorded in France, and the other part's recorded in New York.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, 2 different groups, kind of.
Yeah. Do you like being a band leader when you look at it?
Did I what?
Do you like being a band leader?
Do I like?
Yeah, if you like being a band leader, leading a band.
Yeah, I mean, I like I like hearing the songs come to life and finally hearing them, because you have one thing in your head, but when they actually rehearse it or play it, it evolves into something else. Yeah. But some of the things you hear it's great to hear it come to life and see what other players will do with it. Yeah. Especially those great players, and bring it to life, Yeah. It was a lot of fun doing that.
How do you write music?
The next one, hopefully soon.
How do you write music usually? What's your process there?
It's not always the same. Like I write some of the songs on piano.
Oh, really?
and then I write other some of the other songs on bass, and some of it I just I'll have a melody in my head, and I'll try to play it on an instrument. It's either bass or piano. But the rhythmic part is a lot of grooves that I heard, because I'm Nigerian, but I was born in America, but my parents are from Nigeria. So when I was growing up, I heard a lot of the records that they were playing, and they're more rhythmic Nigerian music. So the rhythms, a lot of them are derived from Africa. Yeah, and maybe a little bit of also influence from Abdullah. He's South African, and when I was playing with him, he taught me some South African rhythms. So like it's kind of a combination of South African and West African rhythms, plus morphing into jazz, of course, and just rhythms that I sort of experimented on my own. Yeah, it helps also if you have Tain on drums, so Yeah, Tain brings it to life, and he knows what to do, and I'll tell him, I'll sing a rhythm to him, like, can you do something with this rhythm, and he'll hear it and play something that's that he hears. Yeah, that's incredible. He can play anything. Yeah, it's incredible. Yeah, hear anything. Yeah. He's such a player. What about Lionel Loueke? Where did you meet him? I met him in New York, and we used to play some gigs together. And then he also knew this guy from France, Xavier Felgeros. And I said, I would like to have some lead on some of the songs. Yeah. And so we arranged for him to come to the studio in New York to record on some of the songs. And I like his rhythmic approach. Yeah, and his openness, his open sounding. It fit into my music. Yeah, it fits perfectly. It's just like wings. It's so beautiful what he does. Yeah, I love him. Yeah, and then the players were really diverse. Manuel Valera is from Cuba. Yeah. So I have been in Cuba, U.S. I have old friends from a long time ago playing also on it. So it's like a diverse group of people. Yeah. And so that was also cool to see all this different diversity come together and meld. Yeah. Form something. Yeah. Yeah. I love that when people who have been sideman for such a long time and so prolific as a sideman do records as band leaders. I really like that, because then it's like, it's nice to see that. It's a nice moment. I really always am happy when I see that. It's a nice thing. Yeah, I had that music in my head for so many years, and I wanted to do something, but it just it takes money and organization and time. Yeah. And that was a good time. That was the time when it happened, I guess. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and I guess I'm still, it's you have to find the time, actually, because you're so busy playing other people's music or playing, because you need to make money also to survive. Sure, of course. Yeah. And so I got to find the time. I did organize a gig just before the pandemic happened in December. We played in New York with a lot of the new music. We rehearsed a lot, and then we went and played. And I was like, I got to record this stuff. It's different from Shona record. It's different stuff. Super fantastic. Yeah, so I got that's already like a couple of years. Yeah, really looking forward to hear that, actually, when it comes out. Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah. Yeah. But you mentioned you listened, when you were young, like Nigerian music and, West African rhythms. But jazz-wise, what were the main jazz records that got you excited, I guess, or artists in the, I would say, like what, mid-70s or early 70s? You remember that moment? Yeah, I got introduced to jazz in high school from my band teacher. He was a big jazz freak in Portland, Oregon, and his name was Mr. Kearns, I think Bob Kearns. And he was, he liked a lot of things. Like he gave me a record, Clifford Brown with strings. Big band, Thad Jones, Mel Lewis, Maynard Ferguson, let's see, Miles Davis. It was Miles' record. And then and at that time I was also into fusion, the early fusion stuff, Ma Vishnu Orchestra.
Oh yeah, sure, that was the period.
Herbie Hancock, Chick Corea, Weather Report, and sort of that was a period of the 70s. So I was really into that music. About the same time that I started hearing jazz, straight ahead jazz, and also other types of jazz. Whether it was Latin jazz, Latin jazz, or even free stuff. I was kind of, I guess, like eclectic. I was open for any possibility, original stuff as well as traditional stuff. And I just, Portland's kind of back then was really open. You hear all kinds of bands playing, and there was good players there. And I guess I started my jazz education in Oregon, in Portland. Yeah, so that's the beginning of.
And did you already play bass?
My jazz journey. Yeah, well, I started. My first instrument was violin.
Oh, really?
So I played violin. Yeah, I played violin for 4 years, and then I switched to bass in high school with this guy, Mr. Kearns. He there was one bass player left in the orchestra, and he gave me a bass lesson. So I switched from violin to bass. I started playing bass. I was like playing bass. I was like, wow, I'm playing bass now. But I guess they're related in the violin family. So
yeah.
Yeah, they're related in a way. Cello, bass, violin, viola.
Yeah.
And then I started playing bass guitar at the same time too. Bass guitar, so.
When were the first gigs that you got? Like, was it already jazz gigs, like late 70s or?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. It was with friends from school, from high school. They would have a small gig somewhere in town or nearby, and they would hire me for it. And then I started playing. And Portland was also diverse, so I was playing other types of music.
Yeah, I
was playing funk, and also I played in rock bands earlier on. Yeah. And Latin bands. I played in a band called Ayla. They did like a lot of Brazilian stuff. And there was other bands that played Caribbean type stuff. A band called Upepo. There's another band called Felicidades. And they were all active then in Portland,
Interesting.
I used to hear them. But I mainly played with a band called Ayla, which was Brazilian. They liked a lot of Brazilian stuff.
Yeah, the bass there is always really.
And we did gigs, and there was a lot of gigs. Mm-hmm. A lot of gigs back then too. It was a period of many clubs, and a lot of people going out. I just remember having a lot of gigs, and I even played one gig for 4 months in the same club.
Wow, man, that's rare. That's like impossible nowadays.
Yeah, four nights a week, 4 months.
Oh man, in Portland, Oregon.
And that's why I learned most of my.
In Portland, that's amazing.
That's where I learned most of my standard. Yeah, most of my standards was on this gig. It was a guy named Pat George, pianist, and he had all these big, what do you call them, like fake books.
Real books, yeah.
Well, it was before Real Book. It was
okay.
It was all the tunes. He had a lot of tunes. It was more tunes than the Real Book. Like really obscure tunes, like old standards. And he had 3 of them, and he would just bring them to the gigs, and I was like, wow. And I'd have to learn these songs. But 4 months is a good amount of time to learn songs.
Yeah.
I learned most of the standards, even to this day. That gig, most of the standards I learned on that gig. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
can you imagine?
Yeah, that was a very good gig, and a lot of good players would play there. Different drummers would come and play. And it was actually an Italian restaurant that had jazz.
Oh, that's cool.
But it wasn't like background jazz. People would come to hear Italian food, and there was a big interest in jazz back then in Portland, Oregon. Yeah.
Did guys from New York also come? Was Portland part of the touring circuit or not really? Like, did names come to?
It was a lot of players would come to Portland to play, because there was clubs there and places to play, concert venues. Really? I remember Ray Brown would play there, Woody Shaw would play there, McCoy would play there. I saw Mingus.
Wow.
And a lot of groups. I saw a lot of fusion bands too. Like I saw Weather Report,
wow.
Billy Cobham, and Herbie Chick.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
Big, huge concert place called the Paramount back then. It's a big. It was actually kind of where a lot of rock bands would be playing too. The concert venue.
Yeah.
And there was smaller clubs with guys would come, and then some guys would come up also from San Francisco and LA that were like well known, and they would come and they would play in Portland and other towns. I saw people in also Eugene, Oregon, playing, and then the suburbs of Portland. Cal Jader, I remember once. Cal Jader.
Oh wow! Really?
Claire Fisher. I think Claire Fisher and Cal Jader. I think they played together. Wow. They had a band, and I saw that band, and I was like, "Wow, what's this?" It was like Latin jazz. And I was like, wow, what is this music? Yeah, it was great.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that. Wow. You mentioned then Abdullah Ibrahim, and that you came with him to Yugoslavia. Like,
yeah,
how did you get the gig with him? Actually,
I moved to I actually, after Portland, I moved to Los Angeles for a couple of years. Then I met this guy named Rene Van Helsingen from Amsterdam. And he brought me to Amsterdam, right? Oh. And in Amsterdam, I just ended up staying for a few years.
Really?
And one day I was in a club playing, and this guy walks up to me, goes, "Can you do a tour? I'm from Chicago." And I said, "Oh yeah, sure." And it was Don Moye from the Chicago Art Ensemble.
Really? Wow.
Art Ensemble of Chicago.
Yeah, Art Ensemble.
Yeah. Their bass player got sick, right? It ended up in the hospital. So I was at a jam session, and this guy asked me, can you do a tour tomorrow? I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." So we started touring Europe, and then there was like a promoter named Gabby Kleinschmidt, and she was booking everybody back then. She was booking Miles Davis, she's booking Weather Report, Chick Corea, all the and Sun Ra and Abdullah Ibrahim. So Abdullah needed a bass player, so she hooked me up with Abdullah.
Wow.
And from then on, I started playing with him for a few years. And he took me to Yugoslavia, took me to all over Europe, and actually different parts of the States too, California. And yeah. I played with him for like on and off for 6 years.
Wow.
Man. And I learned a lot. He taught me a lot about music.
Yeah. Did you know his music from before?
No. I learned everything from him. I didn't know his music before.
Wow.
I did. So I was like, it was like going to school kind of, Yeah, learning. So because I was a youngster, just trying to find my way.
Yeah.
And he was strict. He was strict leader.
Oh, really? In what sense? Like.
Very, very. He wanted things a certain way, right? So he would say, if I was wrong, he would let me know. And he would like say, "You need to study." And he was strict on everything to everybody in his band.
Yeah.
But I know I developed in his group from those years of playing with him. And he was so strict that I had to like get better on my instrument. And had, you know, I don't know if you know his music, but he has a certain type of music.
Yeah, sure.
And so I had to, and I had to learn a lot of his stuff and a lot of ostinato bass lines. And that's hard to play the same bass line over and over again for a long period of time. It's hard. So I got that from playing with him. And he actually brought me to New York to play Sweet Basils in January 1983.
Wow.
And that was my introduction to New York.
Oh, you were not, of course, in New York, but yeah, okay.
I was living in Europe. I was living in Amsterdam.
Wow.
Yeah, so he brought me to New York, and that's kind of a high note to come to New York and play in the Sweet Basil. It's like, you know, that's the top guys were playing there. So I'm like introduced to New York already on this top level, and people are like, "Who is this guy?" You know, he's new to town, because mostly people come there and have to pay a lot of dues.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know, they have to hang around for years and starve and have hard. But I just came right first day in New York. I'm playing at Sweet Basils with Abdullah Ibrahim, well known back then. It's like I bypassed all that, so it was kind of. I guess I never really went to paying the dues like a lot of players do, you know, back then.
Yeah.
But the thing is, after playing that gig, I went back to Europe. I didn't move to New York fully, you know.
Okay.
I went back to Europe, and I was going back and forth, New York, Amsterdam. And then finally, I just said, I'm going to come to New York, you know, and just move there permanently.
Yeah. When was that? Like mid 80s or?
That was like 80s, 86.
86. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I moved there and moved in with my brother. We lived in Brooklyn, and I was still playing with Abdullah a little bit, you know, for a couple more years before I met Art Blakey, and that was a very good gig. Playing with the Messengers.
I wanted to ask you that. Yeah. How did this happen? How did you meet? I mean, in Sweet Basil, did you meet him, or where did you meet Art? Oh yeah.
Well, I was because people would play at Sweet Basils for like either 1 week or 2 weeks. So I was playing with Abdullah Ibrahim in Sweet Basils. That was actually my last gig. Because I didn't know I didn't know it was going to be the last, but so I was playing with him for a week, and at the end of the week, Art Blakey's manager said to me, "Art wants you in the band." I was like, "What? Art Blakey? Oh, God. What a shock!" Yeah, sure. So the next following week, I went to what's it called? I'm trying to remember the guy that has the rehearsal space on 28th Street. God, how can I remember his name? I can't. Hey, Sylvia. Do you know the guy that has the rehearsal space on 28th Street? Sickler. Yeah, Don Sickler.
Mm-hmm.
Don Sickler, trumpet player. Mm-hmm. Yes, a lot of people rehearse there. And so that's where Art kind of had auditions. And a lot of musicians were there that day. A lot of other trumpet players, sax players. But I think it was only one piano player. It was Benny Green. Benny Green was on piano. Okay. And Javon Jackson was on tenor. And when I first joined the group, he had 7 horns.
It was with Brian Lynch, right? Already, or
Brian Lynch, and this other guy named E.J. Allen, Carl Allen's brother.
Yeah, Carl Allen's brother. Yeah.
So two trumpet players. Tenor was Javon. Alto, which I think it was Donald Harrison on alto. Let's see, trumpet. Oh yeah, trombone, Frank Lacey.
Oh wow,
baritone, a guy named Sam Furness.
Oh yeah, sure.
And one other last guy. I don't remember what horn that was. Oh yeah, Craig Handy, the other tenor player.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, Craig. So that was 7 horns, and we played in Sweet Basil, and then we went to London to play at Ronnie Scott's.
Oh man, wow.
Yeah, and that was the first band I was in with.
How did that audition look like?
Go ahead.
How did that audition look like with Art?
Well, actually, Blakey never showed up.
Oh my!
But we were like, yeah. So, but there was another drummer there, from what I remember, playing for Art, and we just ran the songs, the Messenger songs.
Yeah.
And there was the manager was there, and they were like, "Hey, get ready to play. You're gonna play Sweet Basil's starting on Tuesday." And I was like, "Wow, okay." So the next time I'm playing with Art Blakey, it's on the bandstand Tuesday. Boom, I'm suddenly playing with Art Blakey, crazy.
Right.
But there was 2 years of just playing and touring.
Yeah,
and it was a great 2 years.
How was he like as a band leader? You said like Abdullah was very strict. How was Art like?
Complete opposite. He was always joking around, having a good time, fun, making fun of everything and talking and laughing. Yeah, it was so much fun,
Yeah.
But the music was serious. You got to learn the songs. He didn't want he want no music on stage, no music stands. You have to memorize everything.
Oh.
So I had to memorize the songs. It was just like, wow.
The songbook, yeah.
No music stands, no music on stage. Memorize fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the songs I'd heard before.
Sure.
Jazz Messengers they have a legacy,
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
All the great players. I just felt honored to follow all those, everybody that played with them, from Wayne Shorter to Freddie Hubbard to so and so, and this goes on and on and on.
Yeah. You were basically
and a lot of those.
Yeah, but you were basically the last bass player of the Messengers, right? Of the group.
Yeah,
I mean,
I was.
That's incredible. Yeah.
The group after some like maybe 40 years, 40, maybe 50 years. And I met a lot of the guys that used to be in the Messengers, the past Messengers. They would come as guests, or they would just show up and sit in and play. And I got to meet a lot of people, and I was just like, wow, this is like incredible. I gotta learn these songs. This is a legacy. This is a responsibility.
Yeah, that's incredible. And that's incredible. I mean, you still belong to that generation that actually, got the chance to play with the elders, with the guys who invented basically this music.
Yeah.
That's.
Yep. Yeah, I feel so fortunate, so lucky to either play with them or be around to hear them.
Yeah.
In town.
Yeah.
All the great McCoy Tyner, Joe Henderson, Dizzy Gillespie, whoever, just the whole, most of the guys.
Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah.
And you see them also in the festivals, North Sea Jazz Festival or whatever festival. There'd be like a group, Milt Jackson, whoever. Just in awe of these people.
The fathers, yeah. That's incredible. Yeah. And but how did then when you talk now, it seems to be like you went like from Abdullah to Art Blakey. Then when I checked the albums I have you on, immediately kind of like Bobby Watson happened. You basically went from one quite long-standing group to another. Like, how did then the gig with Bobby begin?
Yeah. Well, Bobby was also, he's also a messenger, and he would come around. And so, but actually I met Bobby before that. I met him in Europe. When I was living in Europe, he used to come over a lot and play, and I met him and got to know him, and we became friends. But I think I became closer with him after moving to New York.
Yeah, sure.
And he had this band already, the Horizon, and there was a few reincarnations of the band. I can't remember who wasn't the original band, but I think it might have been Smitty and or either that or Kenny Washington. I'm not sure which was in the band, but I was probably in maybe the fourth or fifth
version. Yeah.
you know, version of the band. And when I was in the band, it was Victor Lewis, of course, on drums.
Yeah.
And,
Eduard
Ed
Simon.
Simon,
Yeah.
Edward Simon, Ed Simon, and
Yeah.
Terrell Stafford.
Yeah.
And sometimes if Terrell couldn't make it, it would be Milton Mustafa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he would do it. And that was the band for a while. You know, we played
Yeah.
all over Europe, States.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we ever went to Japan. I don't remember us going to Japan, but definitely Europe. Between
Yeah.
and
Europe
States.
a lot. Yeah. Sure.
And might have even gone to Canada. Yeah, I think we went to Canada. We were supposed to go to Brazil, but it got canceled.
Yeah, but still, you know, you were basically
Yeah.
on the road constantly since what, 1982 to, you know.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I've been like pretty much busy since.
Yeah.
Like it's like 81 to now. Yeah, it's like kind of crazy.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I think I just got, there's a timing. I was in the right place.
Right on. Yeah.
There's opportunities that presented themselves. Yeah.
How was the New York scene like?
For a year.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. With Freddie also.
Yeah, I played with him. Yeah, Freddie. That was before Bobby, because I met him in Art Blakey's band. There was a big 70th, you know, Art turned 70.
Yeah.
There was a band put together in Bayer, Germany. And it was a big deal. And the band was like Freddie Hubbard, Wayne Shorter, Curtis Fuller, Jackie McLean, Benny Golson. Roy Haynes was the second drummer. Buster Williams was a bass player. Jeff Keyser and Walter Davis Jr.
Yeah.
Terrence Blanchard, Donald Harrison, Michelle Hendricks was a singer. And the band that I was in already with Brian Lynch, Devon, and you know, it's this big. It's on YouTube. It's a big.
I really have to find it.
Session with all these guys.
I have to check it out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like 1990, I think, on YouTube, either 89 or 90. And I met Freddie then, and then he called me like one day, early 90s, to start playing with him. So I played with him and started touring around Europe and the United States.
How was your Freddie experience like?
Oh, that was a great experience too. Got to meet a lot of people and play with a lot of people. Because everybody knew him, of course.
Yeah.
And he was a character. And it was a great opportunity.
Oh, sure. Yeah, one of the greats. Well, what was it like for you, you know, when you weren't on tour in New York? What was happening then in New York? If you look at the scene, you know, late 80s, early 90s or mid 90s?
A lot of gigs. There was a lot of clubs and gigs happening at that time.
Yeah.
And it was never like I was always busy if I wanted to be. People would call local gigs, and you know, much better than what it is now. I think.
Sure.
I think there's less clubs. I mean, it's still the busiest jazz town in the world, but I'll tell you how I know it's not as well, because there's a newspaper called the Village Voice, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And there used to be 2 pages of jazz clubs. Now there's 1 page. So that means it means there's less clubs.
Yeah.
And actually there's more musicians now than back then because there's more people. So it's like everybody has to try to play at all those clubs, the clubs that are left now, which is still a lot of clubs, but everybody's trying to get to those clubs.
Yeah.
And I think that it was definitely and then when I talked to players that are older, they said, "Oh, the '70s was fantastic, and the '60s, the '50s, it was even more." You know, but, but that's the world, anyways. The world's getting like that.
Yeah,
but it's still there's still opportunities. There's still groups and people playing. There's still great music happening.
Oh yeah, sure, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the first time I came to New York, and you know, in the Village Voice, I think, yeah, when all the jazz gigs are listed, and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, you know, 40 concerts on one evening, and you would see all the big names, like someone playing the Iridium, someone Blue Note, then you had like Cornelia 55, I don't know, Barbès, whatever, you know. It's just like, man, are you kidding me? Is this for real? I just, you know, coming from Yugoslavia or Slovenia, I couldn't believe that. I was like, that's impossible, you know. It's like, yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, I came like the first time in 1996.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Rona Fifth was playing also at the Zinc Bar, right?
Yeah, that's why I used to play with him there.
Yeah, I think I don't know if you were on bass, but I know I saw him with Tain. It probably was you on bass.
Yeah, we played together there for years. Tain was on drums.
Yeah,
and then all kinds of people used to come to either hang or play. Kenny Kirkland would be in there, and one day I looked and there was Max Roach sitting there. Another time there was Pat Metheny sitting there. I'm like, wow, this is. I guess this is a scene, man. George Benson come all the time. He play.
Seriously? Wow, man.
They played. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a hot. The Zinc Bar in the '90s was really
the place
spot. Yeah.
I remember that. Like, you know, all these cool places, and it's like now read on Facebook every other week, like something closes. You know.
Yeah.
It's quite like. Hopefully, new places were open. So.
The pandemic caused that, but places, it's tough also. But actually, there's a little bit of hope. Like Smoke is bigger now. It got bigger.
Yeah.
It opened up as a bigger club, and there might be a few other new clubs. But I guess that's always been happening in New York. Clubs closing.
Yeah.
You
know,
ups and downs.
Definitely. Yeah. No, but. Otherwise, I wanted to ask you about, you know, I checked some records that I have you on and the drummers you played with. And, you know, it's like already the people we mentioned, like Tain and Victor Lewis. There's Al Foster, there's Art Blakey. I don't know, the list just goes on. And how did you ever like, or do you still ever prepare especially for a drummer that you know you're going to play with, or does it happen naturally always, like, you know, because, you know, Tain plays different than Victor Lewis or Al Foster, or has a different swing or more laid back, or are you aware of that when you go to a session? Or
you know, I just try to listen to where the time is and fit in to what they're playing, because I think that we all have a common knowledge of the music, of the language of the jazz. Yeah. And we all have to listen to each other. And I learned a lot from those guys. I mean, those like they're my rhythm teachers, you know. So I try to keep an open mind and listen. I think that if you use your ears, that help. That's the main thing. Just listening to where the time is. Yeah. And that's my biggest asset, is my ears. Yeah. And
that's so important. Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, of course. The other players are also great. You know, it's a combination of the pianists, the drums, or whatever instruments are involved. And you know, that experience, past experience too.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, what about the group with Sylvia? I saw on YouTube. Is that still alive? And are you planning something new, or?
You mean the one we played in New York?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. She's planning some things in the future for sure, and but she has different musicians, you know, combinations of musicians, and think the next one, I'm not sure what she's going to do as far as, who's going to be playing, but she always likes to try different things. She's real adventuresome. And so we try different combinations, different songs, and I'm sure that it'll be, wide open or with a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so we actually play out here in California too,
Oh, really?
I'm
Okay.
standard. Yeah.
But you're still based in New York, right? Otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still based in New York. But I come out here a lot to help her with her parents. They're like older,
Yeah.
And we play out here. I've been out here since June 2nd. And been playing here a lot with a lot of good people.
Yeah, it's like so many guys moved from New York to the West Coast now.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
So there's once I started meeting the players out here, started getting connected with them, and they call me for gigs.
Yeah, sure.
There's quite a few players out here.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Otherwise, what are your plans for the remainder of the year? Are you going on some tours or?
Yeah, I'm actually going back July 5th. And I played Vanguard with George Cable's trio.
Wow. Oh, fantastic. With Victor on drums or Victor Lewis?
Well, Victor's not playing drums. This guy named Jerome Jennings.
Oh, okay.
Younger guy. I think he used to play with Christian McBride.
Oh, okay.
Like some years ago.
Yeah.
So he's playing drums. And then I'm going to come back here 2 weeks later because I got to play with Bobby Watson at Healdsburg, California, a series of this promoter named Jessica Felix. She has people coming. I just played last weekend for a John Hurd project with Danny Grissett and Lorca Hart, Billy Hart's son, and Ralph Moore. We played.
Oh wow, beautiful.
We played this art gallery. They have a big stage and they have concerts. And so I'm going to come out here 2 weeks later to play with Bobby. We have 2 concerts with Ed Simon, actually.
Oh, wow. Say hi. Hi to Ed.
Ed lives out here.
Yeah.
He lives in San Jose. And then they could use a drummer named Akira Tana. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, sure. He played with Rufus Reed a lot, right? The rhythm section.
They had a group when he lived in New York. But he lives out here. He's from here.
Oh.
So that's going to be a quartet. And then after that, I'm going to go to Europe August 1st for 16 days to play with a Polish guy named Sylwester Ostrowski.
Oh, don't know him.
Yeah, he's from Poland, but he got a group together with Freddie Hendrix on trumpet, and Miki Hayama, piano player from Japan, and a drummer that used to live in New York, but he lives in Europe, named Owen Hart.
Oh, sure,
yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so we're gonna play for a little over 2 weeks in Europe. And then I come back to New York, and I'm going to do Vincent Herring is forming a new band.
Oh, really? Wow. Who are the guys?
He asked me to join. It's with Tain on drums.
Oh man.
Dave Kukowski on piano, and I can't remember who he got on the other horn. Maybe, I'm not sure, but it's going to be Vincent and those guys.
Fantastic.
And maybe somebody else. Yeah, maybe a guitar.
Fantastic.
And then after that, I got a West Coast tour with this Seattle guy named Thomas Marriott. I don't know if you ever heard of him.
Also known.
Trumpet player, great trumpet player in Seattle. Warren Evans on piano. And some drummer, but I never heard of this drummer. I guess he must be a Seattle guy.
Yeah.
So I got a tour with him. It's like a very short tour, 4 gigs. And then I go back to Europe to play with that Polish guy again.
Oh my God, man.
and then I come back here and I think Sylvia and I are getting married.
Oh wow, congrats.
In the meantime. Thanks. In the meantime. So and it's just this has been a crazy year. It's been really busy,
Man, you're like the life of a touring jazz musician. You're, just like
Yeah,
Incredible. Beautiful.
yeah, crazy. And then there's other smaller gigs in New
sure.
York too.
I can believe that. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, yeah. So I'm busy, I guess. Yeah, I'm happy to be busy.
Oh, beautiful.
Things are fun. Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah. How's it in Yugoslavia? I'm not Yugoslavia. It's not Yugoslavia
Slovenia
anymore.
Yeah, Slovenia. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever play here? Oh, you played with Bobby, just right? After we got independent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played with, and before that I played with Abdullah Ibrahim.
But after that, not anymore, right? Like after Bobby.
You know, I went to another neighboring country, Montenegro.
Oh yeah, okay. Really?
I played there some years ago. It was a band with Randy Brecker and
really?
I forgot who was in that band. Yeah, some New Yorkers. It was a festival called New York Festival or something.
Oh yeah, in Budva, I think it was. Yeah, that on the coast.
Yeah, on the coast. Yeah. Yeah, that was like maybe 5 years ago or something, or maybe less. No, well, no, it's probably 5 years. Because 2 years disappeared with COVID.
Yeah, sure. I'm the same. I'm like, man, last year I was at a concert. No, it was like 3 years ago. You know, like bizarre.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm the same.
2 years ago are gone. You know.
Yeah, deleted. Yeah. Oh, amazing, super.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever went back to Slovenia. I don't think so.
Yeah, also, I mean, I followed the concerts and I don't remember that you came after Bobby. I don't think I saw you. I mean, maybe I missed a concert, but yeah.
I would love to come, but I just don't have any. I guess Montenegro was the closest. You know?
Yeah, or Vienna. I think I saw you in Vienna.
Oh yeah, I go to Vienna all the time. Yeah, I played with Joris Doodley.
Yeah, the drummer. Yeah,
the drummer, and I played there. Last time tour was with Eric Alexander.
Yeah,
and Danny Grissett and Wallace Roney's son.
Yeah,
Wallace Roney Jr. Great trumpet player.
Yeah, it's nice. Vienna is fantastic for gigs. It's really happening. I mean, Porgy and Best and some other clubs, which are really cool.
Yeah. Jazzland.
Yeah, beautiful gigs there. So.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah. So I really enjoy going to Vienna. Vienna's last time was so much fun.
Yeah.
A beautiful city too.
Yeah, it's incredible, the culture. But cool.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, sir, for sharing some of these thoughts, Essiet. I really appreciate it. So nice to hear you.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Great to meet you, man. Great. Sounds like you have a great thing going there.
Yeah. I love this. I'm a musician, but I love listening to you guys. It's so much history, already there.
What do you play?
I play guitar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I played with many New York guys like, I don't know, Donnie McCaslin and David Binney and Gerald Cleaver and more like this avant-garde-ish, more style.
Yeah.
But we try.
I did a lot of avant-garde too, but I did, older, like way out, like, Art Ensemble of Chicago and some other guys from back in those days,
Yeah. Did you ever play like completely free stuff? Like just
really? I did, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Joseph Jarman.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah, of course. You did the record with him. Yeah.
Yeah, and Don Moyer, Ari Brown. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, sure.
Sax player.
Yeah.
And, so that's a lot of fun too. And I'm trying to think who else. I used to play with Jim Pepper years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I would not have.
Yeah, Jim Pepper he's from Portland,
Yeah, I mean, I love his tunes, like Coming and Going. That's one of my favorite records. And 83 or something. Yeah.
He had a lot of great groups, and I played with him. I toured Europe with him.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's fantastic.
He was quite an emotional sax player.
Yeah. Beautiful tunes like Vichy Taito, he wrote that.
Vichy Taito, yeah. I played that with him. Yeah.
That's such a nice melody, so beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
I did a lot of playing with Donnie too. We played with Danilo for a couple of years. Danilo Perez. We were in that.
Oh yeah, the Motherland project, right?
In Motherland, yeah.
Yeah, with Adam Cruz on drums. I think.
Adam Cruz, yeah.
Yeah.
And, Luciana Sosa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think there's some footage on. I think it's on YouTube. I saw somewhere that band. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful group. Danilo is one of those geniuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw him with Wayne Shorter, and it's just like, man, years ago.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Those guys. I mean,
that's a great group.
And Brian on drums, just like, and Patitucci. Yeah.
Patitucci.
It's just like
those guys are all monsters. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just when the music, it was just like, man, how do you know? You know, Wayne plays like, and they're in another tune and just go. And such a group, man.
Yeah, Wayne is what a great writer.
Yeah, I love his stuff. So
yeah.
But cool, man.
So yeah, man. Nice to meet you, man.
Yes, you too. Well,